Now, Argentina has until midnight to make its latest interest payment to creditors, otherwise it will default. Argentina's been struggling for the past decade to repay its lenders on bonds agreed in 2001. Last week, the US Supreme Court ordered the country to repay two hedge funds separately over $1 billion. If Argentina fails to make a payment today, it could once again lose access to international lending markets. Well, let's speak to Yannick Naud about this again. Yannick, I mean, how serious is this for Argentina if it does default?
It is very serious. I mean, now it's very likely that they will not do this payment. Even if they wanted to do the payment on the restructured bond, they have 1 month's grace period in order to avoid to be in full default. So they will have 1 month in order to negotiate with every stakeholder, every bondholder, in order to make sure that they find a negotiated solution.
If they don't end up paying, what sort of a precedent does this set?
Well, I mean, right now there's three possibilities. Either they repay everyone, the restructured bond. I mean, you have to keep in mind that back in 2001, when the country defaulted on $95 billion debt, 93% accepted the restructuring. The 7% did not accept. So either they repay everyone, this is solution one, or they don't repay anyone, and it's a full default, which is unacceptable probably. And there's the best solution will be that they will negotiate with the holds out in order for them to get some payment, in order for the country to pay for the other bondholder.
I mean, why are these two holdout creditors adopting this position? Why are they sticking to their guns?
Well, you have to keep in mind that those bonds are dollar-dominated bonds. It's under U.S. law, in New York law. Therefore, they were thinking at the time that the claim to be repaid was justified. And it looks like by the decision that was being taken in a U.S. court that it was the case.
Okay. Let's move on to another story of the day, mergers and acquisitions. I mean, there's been a flurry of M&A activity this year. A figure of $1.7 trillion for the first 6 months of the year has just come out. Lots of activities been in pharma. What's that about? Is that about buying growth, or are there tax reasons for it?
No, it's not a lot about buying growth. I think it's twofold. It's first of all doing cost cutting. I mean, a lot of those M&A are done in order to do, it's called synergy, but at the end it's called cost cutting, in order to have a better market share and be able to squeeze costs. Obviously, a lot of them, it's in fact tax avoidance, or in fact try to do a tax optimization, where, for example, US company buying a European company in order to make sure that the HQ of the company move, for example, in Ireland, in order to pay less corporate tax and be able to use all those money that is stored outside US. So it's a bit of both, a bit of tax arbitrage and a bit of cost cutting and a bit of growth, but not too much. You have to keep in mind as well that it's very easy for a company to borrow money right now, both in terms of yield. I mean, as your previous program showed, the yield are extremely low, and the availability of cash in order to be lent by a bondholder is extreme as well. So company can finance a lot of those M&A by issuing debt.
Why also the increase in hostile takeovers?
I think the increase of hostile takeover reflects the fact that the management are much more confident in terms of the future, and therefore they're even willing to buy a company without doing due diligence and without looking at the book, without the agreement of the target.
Okay, Yannick Naud from Sturgeon Capital. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.